have to scrunch way forward. You'll notice when the sign comes up how the riders do that. And once LoRocco does that, it puts the pressure right down on his fingers, and it's hard to hold on to that clutch.
We're going to see who gets the whole shot here in the Kingdome. It's critical to get to the first turn first. Life is so much easier for the leader in Supercross because behind him 19 men are battling for position. There's what's wrong with that gate. That guy had his foot on it. Here's the charge to turn number 1, and Jeremy McGrath is out front again. The rookie has grabbed another hole shot. Into second spot goes his teammate Jeff Stanton. McGrath is a jet. At age 21, he's the toast of the Supercross Tour. And now number 24, Michael Craig, goes around Jeff Stanton, takes over the number 2 spot. But look at the big lead for McGrath.
This is what McGrath is doing. Now listen close. McGrath gets the hole shot, and he just burns the rest of the riders while they're back there sorting themselves out. Stanton is waiting for, I don't know what. If he's trying to get comfortable. But in the meantime, he goes from second to fourth. Craig takes over the number 2 position. Brian Swink comes in and takes third, away from Stanton. Stanton wakes up, and now the two of them are having a battle royal there. But in the meantime, McGrath is just splitting from the rest of the field.
And moving up is number 21, Steve Lamson. He is Stanton's teammate. Swink completes the pass, looks back over at the green flag as if to say, hey, take that, champ. And Brian Swink goes up into third spot. This may be a great opportunity to see Swink and McGrath get at it. Last year, Swink was the champion of the Eastern region. McGrath was the champion in the West. They met only once in Houston. Swink won the race. Brian Swink, who's been plagued by bad starts this year, has got to be a little frustrated. All the attention and all the track time at the front of the field that Jeremy McGrath is getting.
I would think so. If you talk to the veteran Supercross observers, they've all said that Swink is just waiting for an opportunity to get up there and challenge McGrath. And maybe that opportunity, as you said, is going to come forth today. Meanwhile, a battle going on way back in 6th and 7th place. And look who's in 7th. That's Damon Bradshaw. He's chasing his teammate, Jeff Emig.
We talked a good bit about the problems or seeming problems for Jeff Stanton this year. I got to tell you, I'm surprised that Damon Bradshaw has struggled the way he has this year.
Well, he has struggled on and off. In the early part of the season, a good ride. Orlando, he led the race, then got tired because of inactivity in the offseason. He won Houston, and then at Anaheim, it looked like he was just rather complacent, taking what he could get in the back of the track. Said he didn't, back in the pack rather, said he didn't care for the track, and he really didn't work that hard. And right now, he's working hard trying to get around Emig, but he's not going anywhere until, as I said, that he grabs a good line out of that corner, Dave, and just smoked Jeff Emig. And we'll be right back.
Windblade from Bic.
What's in it? Supercross outing ever. Brian Swink, who is on the charge, and the ever-complacent Jeff Stanton, who sits back there in fourth.
Stanton is watching what's happening in front of him while Swink is trying to make something happen. Swink has been picking alternate lines, looking for a room or a way around, and there's an example right there. He's forcing the issue. He's aggressive. He goes into second place, and here comes Jeff Stanton, still just watching. Dave, if I had to pick right now as we watch Swink now try to move up toward McGrath, and hopefully we're going to see a battle here, I'd have to pick that, or say rather, that Stanton is hanging around. He's going to wait till the latter part of the season. He's just kind of, he wants to be there. Doesn't want to get hurt. Doesn't want to take a chance.
Well, far be it from me to criticize the strategy of a three-time champion. I am impressed with Jeremy McGrath. He led the first 2 races and faded. And now as we watch Stanton and Craig continue their battle for third, it is very clear that Jeremy McGrath has learned how to run up front.
I think those that watched the first couple of races and said, well, he's a rookie, he's going to fade, I think maybe they're now eating their words. McGrath has just been phenomenal. He makes no mistakes. He's not a flashy rider. He just plain gets the job done. He puts the wheels where they need to be, and it just gets all the power to the ground. And meanwhile, Brian Swink, long way to go, but he's cut maybe a second out of that lead in the last 2-3 laps.
And he's left Craig and Stanton behind. Craig's got a great thing going here. Number 24, 20th in the first race this year, 10th in the second, 8th in the third. He's kind of stepping up the ladder because tonight he's got a top 3 spot. The former Mickey Thompson Stadium motorcycle champion has an opportunity to get his first sip of Supercross champagne here this evening. And if there is a minor miracle in the Kingdome, perhaps an opportunity to go challenge Jeremy McGrath. Well, if you don't mind my saying so, it's kind of stinking up the race here. This isn't very close.
Oh, Mike Craig almost nailed the hay bales. He's going to be passed. He came down on that jump, Dave, almost clipped the bales. Stanton had an opportunity, took advantage of it, and he moves into the number 3 position, dropped Craig back to 4th. Let's take another look at this. Now, watch this. He comes up a little bit short on that thing, and boy, that could have been disastrous. Now looking around to say, "Well, hopping there, well, hopping."
Hey,
he looked to the he looked to the left, Stanton went to the right, and here comes Bradshaw. I think Craig is still shaking.
Yeah, it's going to take him a minute to get his rhythm back, but that's going to be critical to how he finishes tonight. That will move Bradshaw into 4th, but it was a gimme. Not so much Bradshaw's aggression, but rather Craig's misfortune that inherits that spot for Damon. And now the 2 men who ran 1-2 a year ago, number 1 and number 8, are nose to tail again here in the Kingdome, but they're racing for 3rd and 4th position. I was among those who thought that Bradshaw and Stanton would run away with this series. Instead, they're chasing the rookies, Jeremy McGrath and Brian Swink. We'll be back with more right after this. Bradshaw and Stanton have been joined by number 5, Mike LoRocco, for the 3rd week in a row. LoRocco has come through the traffic.
And he has come through in grand fashion and style. I'm telling you, this guy has been the fastest rider on the track. If he gets a hole shot, they're all dead.
Do you think the wrist is the reason he's not getting a hole shot?
He says no, but when he says that, he says it so quickly, like, I don't want to make any kind of an excuse, and LoRocco won't do that. My opinion, after putting the wrist arm guard on there, the wristband like Ekman did, my opinion is, yes, it's a problem.
Well, he certainly is fast once the gate drops. Last 2 weeks, he started 17th and got to the top 5, and now as Bradshaw makes a move on Stanton, he'll take over 3rd. LoRocco is 5th, and right there knocking at the door. LoRocco has come from 12th tonight, so he is the charger of the season thus far, and you got 3 real studs battling for a top 3 position right here.
The only one battling, though, it's my opinion, is Mike LoRocco as we reach the halfway point. That's what that 1/2 signified on LoRocco's mechanics board. LoRocco is the guy that has come up and caught these 2 guys. They had a big lead on him. They're fighting amongst themselves for that number 3 position, but it's almost like, well, we're here, and as long as you gave me a chance, I'm going to take it. But they're not fighting like LoRocco is.
They're sure not running the speed of the kids up front either. Swink and Jeremy McGrath have just checked out. I mean, they're gone. They look like they were the old pros with all the experience, and instead, Bradshaw and Stanton, last year's dominant riders in this series, are a distant 3rd indeed, and now under pressure from LoRocco, the man who badly needs a break. He looks inside, tries to find a spot. Stanton says nothing doing. LoRocco just on an exploratory mission there, I think. They're trying to set something up. He's got a lot of time left.
Well, there's a lot of time left to pass Bradshaw and Stanton, but if he doesn't get that job done quickly, it's going to be history as we watch the mechanics communicate with their rider, because out front, McGrath and Swink are leaving the 3 veterans, the 3 guys that should be out there on top in the point standings. They're leaving them behind.
Bradshaw has pulled away from this battle as LoRocco continues his pressure on Jeff Stanton. It's also worth noting, though, that when you come from 17th, it's a whole lot easier to pass the first 10 or 12 guys than it is as you get closer to the front.
It definitely is, and also you've built up some momentum. You know where the extra lines are on the racetrack, and when he gets up to Stanton, though, like you say, it's a little bit tougher. Whoa, almost there. I think he had an inkling. Yes, it's a little bit tougher on Stanton, but he does have some lines down pat that Stanton does not, and you can see LoRocco now using those lines. Now, Stanton is riding defensively. He's trying to keep LoRocco back there, and that lets Bradshaw go away.
Now, is that good strategy at that point? I mean, obviously, there's a couple of points difference to be. He can't catch Bradshaw at this point.
No, but I have to think that you ride your own race, and Stanton has always been a student of that thought. You ride your own race, you don't worry about the guy behind you, because when you do, you have to slow your pace, and that's what's happened out here. See, Stanton is trying to hog the good lines, trying to make that Honda as wide as he can to keep LoRocco behind him, and it's slowing his pace. Bradshaw says, thank you. He's just whistling away. Meanwhile, LoRocco is going to get frustrated, and he'll have to force some kind of move here if Stanton is not cooperative in the near future.
Well, we've said all season that we just didn't have the sense that we were watching the Stanton who won the 3 championships, and all season he's said very complacently, hey, it's not time to be worried about it yet, and As we said, it's pretty tough to second guess a man who's won it 3 times. But right now, the man who is definitely trying to make something happen out there is Mike LoRocco. Again, Mike doesn't have a championship. He's only got 3 Supercross wins under his belt. He's a whole lot hungrier than Jeff Stanton. And there are those who theorize that flying back and forth to Europe first class and getting paid big bucks to ride the international Supercross races has made Stanton complacent.
I don't believe that for a minute. I know Jeff Stanton, and I believe that he wants it, but I think he won last year, last race of the year, after trailing throughout most of the series. And I think he's a guy that has always believed in, you take it easy the early part of the season when the crunch time. And Stevenson, that was Denny Stevenson laying in the middle of the track. He provided the opening for Mike LoRocco to make the pass on Stanton. Oh, boy, what a break. Watch this again, Dave. Now, LoRocco has nowhere to go at that point, assuming Stanton did not get in trouble. But when he had to squirt to the outside of Stevenson, that was it. He made the pass, and now he's in 3rd place.
And the mechanic has the word for number 15, McGrath. You're headed for home, kid. It's your race. And I would say that is an understatement. We'll be back with the finish. Jeremy McGrath, the rookie, is trying to become the first 2-time winner of the 93 Supercross campaign. But another rookie, Brian Swink, is running him down. Meanwhile, Guy Cooper has crashed. Art Ekman has a report from trackside.
Dave, Guy Cooper is now being tended to here in the ambulance. They'll no doubt take him to a hospital to get x-rays on his shoulder. It is believed at this point in time that he does have a fractured shoulder. He's got a nasty bump on his head and lacerations all over his body.
The veteran Cooper is on the sidelines. The rookie Swink is making a challenge on Jeremy McGrath. Whoa! McGrath moved right over and took his line.
Swink, it looked to me, had the pass made, and McGrath said, "No, you don't, pal. I know that's the good line, too, there, and I'm taking it away from you." He just hogged it.
Well, the obvious question is, what was McGrath doing on the bad line to start with? He's the guy who's had the racetrack all to himself tonight, but suddenly Swink is there, and I'm convinced, driven by the fact that he's sick of McGrath getting all the limelight.
Well, and I think that McGrath is sick himself. He earlier said that a touch of the flu had kept him from training, and he could be running out of a gas again. This looks just like the opening round in Orlando when he faded down.
Yeah, he's going slow. He's definitely not at the speed he ran in the early laps, and Swink, on the contrary, is just coming at him like Jack the Bear. He actually got a wheel alongside. A moment ago, you saw that he was on the right line but couldn't complete the pass, and now the question, will McGrath panic and do something silly?
He's riding sloppy right now. If he's worried about Swink, if he's trying to keep him behind, here's that same scenario. Now let's see what happens. He did it again. He took the line away from Swink. He's actually crossing over in front of Swink. Whoa! Now that was a veteran move there on the part of McGrath. Swink was going for a block pass. McGrath saw it coming, just nailed the brake and shot back to the inside.
Great battle between the 2 rookies. I think this is worth another look here as Swink continues his quest. Watch how Swink charges by McGrath, just waiting for him.
Yep. And McGrath had 2 options there. He could have hit the brakes, or he could do just what he did, which was slack off and then get right back on the gas and shoot to the inside. Good move.
We'll be back to see who wins this thing right after this break. Rocking on a Saturday night, 2 separate battles. The rookies up front. Jeremy McGrath, the race leader, Brian Swink, who for the moment seems to have backed off a little bit and relented in his pressure. Meanwhile, Bradshaw and LoRocco, who tangled in the heat race, are racing for 3rd. Bradshaw promised to pay back for what he perceived as a bad hit from LoRocco. Is that going to happen?
Well, I don't think so. Since Bradshaw's in front, he'd have to slam on the brakes so LoRocco could run into it for a bad hit.
With that race for 3rd stabilized for a moment, the leaders are in traffic. They're going into the final lap. McGrath leads, and then a lap rider, Swink, is stuck behind Cliff Palmer. He couldn't get around, and that may decide the race in Jeremy McGrath's favor. Here comes Swink. Now he'll easily get by on the inside, but through that one-line corner, Palmer was in the line, and as a result, Swink will not, I believe, have a shot as we come down to the checkered flag. LoRocco has fallen back perhaps 4 to 5 bike lengths behind Bradshaw. Whoa, Bradshaw messed up. Bradshaw doubled when he should have tripled, and LoRocco just shot right by. I don't believe Bradshaw made that mistake.
He came out of that corner. It looked like he bobbled just a little bit, and he knew instantly he did not have the momentum to make the triple. He backed it down, and I think he was just hoping that he could hold on, but LoRocco nailed the triple and jumped over Bradshaw, and he moved into the number 2 position.
Boy, Bradshaw left that door wide open. Meanwhile, Jeremy McGrath will take the checkered flag, the first double winner of the 1993 season. Skip Norfolk said, yeah, man, we did it again. 2 weeks in a row. The kid from Murrieta, California, has come home with the checkered flag. LoRocco